Thank you. Thank you, Konya Society. So we are here to discuss about topography, what we need to see when we are planning a patient for refractive surgery. We all know refractive surgery, it has come a long way, especially in last 2 decades, and being extremely precise, it makes highly predictable, safe and successful. So refractive surgery, broadly I would describe as a corneal refractive procedures and intraocular refractive procedures, which is also taken a big way in the cases of a high myopia or where corneal refractive procedures can't be done. Briefly, corneal refractive procedures as of today, surface procedures like a PRK, LASIK, femto-LASIK or a SMILE, and intraocular refractive procedures could be phakic IOLs and even a clear lens extraction stands in case where ICL or phakic IOLs can't be done. So refractive surgery workup, as such I am here to talk about the topography. Broadly, this is an era of Scheimpflug based imaging where two modalities that are most commonly used are a pentacam and a CIRRUS, which has come up in last big way in the last 4 or 5 years. So what the normal topography looks like, this is a pentacam image. It gives us a patient's name, the K1, K2 or SIMK values. It shows us a pachymetry, and you can go through the various topographic maps so as to assess its most important thing, that is a sort of a posterior elevation. So going to a few cases, this was a case, as you can see, this is a sagittal curvature and a front view. What you are seeing is the initial Rabinowitz's criteria, it still stands true. That is, when you are seeing not a typical figure of 8, it should raise a suspicion. Now looking at this, as you can see, the K1, K2 values are around 43 and 40, and pachymetry is still quite adequate, somewhere around 512 microns. But when you go on to a posterior image or a posterior elevation, you are seeing in the center the posterior elevation is somewhere around 30 microns. And the classical teaching says that when you have a posterior elevation more than 20 microns, it should be a sign of a red sign or something that you are dealing with either a form first keratoconus or frank keratoconus as such. So this could not be a patient for that should be taken for any sort of an ablation. So this is a second pentacam image. Again, now you are seeing a regular dumbbell shaped figure of 8. Again, you are seeing a astigmatism which is somewhere around 1.6 diopters and a K1, K2 of 44 and a 45.7. But when you flip over to a posterior elevation, you can see again the posterior elevation is nowhere exceeding more than 20 microns. So this could be a patient who is having some sort of an astigmatism, and a pachymetry, if it allows, you can very well go and fire a laser or do an excimer procedure. So now this is again a patient who has this is a sagittal curvature. In a single view you are seeing all the topographic maps. This is a sagittal curvature front, this is the elevation front, you have a corneal thickness map over here and a back elevation, which is the most important thing that you should look for in case you are having some suspicion. Now here again you have it shows a K1, K2 values which is around 42.2 and 44, and a pachymetry which is 493 microns. It shows the pachymetry map in the center as well as the at the apex. But as you go here, the back elevation, it doesn't show anything suspicious. So this could be a patient again which you can take very well take up for a refractive surgery. Now the same patient, if you go to the back elevation, again in a back elevation you are not seeing anything which is very suspicious or a posterior elevation which is very high. So it could be a sort of a regular astigmatism, and you are not dealing with any sort of form first keratoconus. Now this is a frank keratoconus. Now this is even on a Placido based imaging, you can very well understand that this is a keratoconus, but where the role of a Scheimpflug based imaging comes up in a case of a suspicious cases or a form first keratoconus or a very early keratoconus, Scheimpflug based imaging could be very important. Now here you have a K1, K2 of 52 and 56, obviously very hot red spot, and here again you can see the posterior elevation somewhere around 52 microns. So a clear cut case of keratoconus, absolutely you are not going to touch this sort of a patient. Now this is again a patient, this is again a topographic or pentacam image which shows how you can compare pre-operative, this is a post-operative, and it shows the difference between the two. That shows how much you have ablated. You have done a corneal treatment of around 157 microns. K1, K2, it was pre-operatively was 44 and 46, post-operatively 36 and 37, and a difference what you had done through the actual corneal surface. So the carry home message would be, it's an era of Scheimpflug based topographic imaging. Careful reading of a topographic maps and a posterior elevation must before planning of any refractive procedure. and it helps to differentiate surface irregularities from ectasia. In cases where you have a contact lens induced warpage, you can repeat topography, or if you are having some dry spot, you can repeat topography after giving a suitable lubricants, and you can obviously take a picture, look at a posterior elevation, which could very well differentiate whether you are having a surface irregularity induced or warpage induced some sort of a surface irregularities, or actually you are dealing with some sort of a ectasia. Thank you.